We are going to talk about widgets.
And then I'm going to show you a private way to browse using a new iOS 14 feature.
Before I show you how to have a light-up display in your home.
You know what? It's time for iOS Today! iOS Today comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your special parts. Don't emerge from quarantine looking like a Sasquatch down under. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/twit. Hello, Mikey Sargent, Leo Laporte here. How are you today? You're waiting for a big delivery.
Yes, Apple Watch is on its way. And I think you are too, right? We're both sort of waiting with bated breath for our Apple Watches.
Mine's in Alaska, right?
Just taking a little trip.
It starts in China, Shanghai, and then it floats around China for a while. I'm looking at the UPS tracking. And then now it's in Alaska. Yours said cleared customs, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's I don't know. I don't see that on mine. I just see it's left Alaska.
Mine left Oakland this morning.
Oh, yours should be here today. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely coming today.
Holy moly. That's exciting.
Yeah, because it went from, let's see, 2 places in China. I don't know how to pronounce them, so I'm not going to try.
Jiaxing.
There you go.
Yeah, it went through Jiaxing. So actually, mine went from a lot of places. So it's shipped from Jiaxing, 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 to Shanghai, and from Shanghai to Taoyuan in Taiwan, and then from Taoyuan in Taiwan to Anchorage, Alaska. It arrived at Anchorage yesterday. No, 10:28 p.m. yesterday, and then it left at 11:01 p.m. Departed from facility. What does that mean?
Mine left Louisville. It touched down in Louisville, Kentucky from Alaska. So I wonder if yours is headed to Louisville as well.
That's what they do because that's the hub. If you're ever interested in logistics of overnight delivery, it's fascinating. It was all invented by Fred, what's his name, at FedEx. It involved this hub and spoke model where everything ends up, in the case of, I guess, UPS, it's Louisville. I can't remember where FedEx is. Is it Memphis?
Memphis, right?
Yeah, it all goes there. Even if you were FedExing something to me in Petaluma, it would go to Memphis and then come back. So, but that's the efficiency talking, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Efficient. Hey, Mikah, we should do something. You know, iOS 14's out. We're all getting new watches. We're all going to be getting new iPhones probably next month. We should do some iOS 14 stuff today.
I think that's fantastic. In fact, you came up with the idea of us talking today about widgets, and I think that's great because folks are really kind of diving in and digging into widgets. And we've got some here that we wanted to check out. And in fact, the first one that you sent me, I was a little peeved because it was one that I really enjoy Brief.
I love Brief.
I loved the app on its own. I think it was, great on its own. And now this widget makes it even better. So why do you have Brief? What do you like about Brief?
And we should mention when you do widgeting, I don't understand why Apple did it this way, but for some reason, Apple decided to give all the widget power to the phone and virtually none of it to the iPad, where you have all this screen real estate. Why don't we have widgets on the iPad? I mean, we do, but they're all stuck in that gutter on the left, and I think that's so unfair.
Absolutely. We look at this and go, why all this screen and I can't make use of it?
I would love having some widgets on the rest of the screen.
Even like a whole page, a widget page would be so fun.
So iOS 14 came out kind of shockingly. I think developers went, what? And it came out really, really fast the day after the Apple event, long before the iPhone came out. So developers are scrambling to add widget capability. But to their credit, it's happening pretty fast. So the first one we're talking about is a news app, which I actually really like. I'm not crazy. Obviously, I have a lot of news apps. Apple News, I'm not crazy about. I kind of prefer Google News to Apple News. But Brief, the whole idea of Brief, and it's paid, by the way. It's a couple bucks a month if you want to keep using it after the first free month trial, is that there's 5 stories a day. So it's brief.
Brief.
and you just scan. They say highly nonpartisan, and as far as I can tell, they are. They don't, so these are the stories that they consider the 5 top stories. So the idea is you can scan through 5 stories and get the whole thing. And then there's some interesting little bits like how did we get here? The timeline. What are the other events and so forth? These are previous related events, which is I think kind of interesting. So I think they've done a nice job. I really like it. And they immediately came out with an iOS 14 widget, which is very flexible. One of the things that's neat about widgets is they're very flexible. So this is one of many widgets. What I should do is show you all the Brief widgets first so that you can see you have a really big choice. That's one of the nice things I like about the iOS.
Yeah, look
widgets.
at that. What is it? 6 different widgets?
Yeah. You can see because you counted the dots. You're so smart. So there's just a little square election snapshot. All of these are editable, by the way, later. There's the presidential forecast little, the presidential forecast big, the front page. Remember, there's only 5 stories, but you'll see the top story. You could see a couple more stories that way, or even more stories this way. So those are the widgets. I really liked, and I chose for my widget. I chose the election presidential forecast big widget. So what this does is this is from 538, not covered in glory in 2016, but nobody was, right? You can edit the widget so you can say, what do you want it for president or Senate, for instance? Do you want the national summary or you just want to see your state or Georgia? Let's say we want to see what's going on in the Georgia Senate race. And then you can see how that's going. With a very simple graph, you can see the various polls in this case. Let's go back to the national race, the presidential race. So we're going to go back to presidency. And I'm not going to just do one region. I want the national summary, but I'll show you why you like this. So this is 538s. They do what they do. They're geeks. They're wonks. They started doing it for baseball statistics, so that'll give you some idea. Then they started doing polls. Now they run simulations. And basically in 3 out of 4 simulations, President Trump was defeated by Joe Biden. In 1 out of 4, President Trump won. But you can also see, and this is what I actually am, you can see more about the model, but what I'm interested in is the battleground states and how they're going.
Exactly.
So because it's all about the electoral college. So that's going to be, so if you're like me, you're really interested in the horse race aspect of the presidential election, this is kind of a fun widget. And depending on where you stand, this could either give you shivers or chills. Either way, depending on how you stand. So that's Brief. I really like Brief. I think it's worth a couple of bucks. It's Apple's news is free, Google's news is free. There are other news apps, mostly free. I wish the New York Times had a widget, or the Washington Post, or the LA Times. So I expect we'll see widgets from these other ones. They do widgets on Android. So I expect we'll see widgets from all of these guys eventually. But for right now, Brief, and at least now through November 3rd, voting day. Everybody, don't forget, register now. This is kind of fun to have this widget on your screen. Now I don't put them on my front page. I should mention the standard widgets are probably the first place to go. And this is my homepage. And by the way, this is 3 widgets. We've talked about this a little bit before. I have the widget stack, and the Apple's idea is they're going to give you what's germane for that time of day. So you can see I'm on weather right now was where it started, but I have photos. By the way, I love photos. because it's fun. Apple's doing such a good job with Apple's Photos app, giving me fun summaries of things that happened in the past. You know, it's great. There was yesterday a video of my wife and her son, all the pictures I've taken over the years of the two of them. So I sent her that. That was really awesome. So this stack is great. You get the weather, you get your calendar, and it'll pop that up at the beginning of the day so you know, or right before your first appointment, so you know that you're late for MacBreak Weekly. Then there's some news, which is nice, and the clocks. I think you can edit this widget. I should probably check.
Yeah, edit stack lets you edit it.
So you could choose what's in here, but they don't have a huge number of choices, right?
Yeah, and that smart rotate option you can toggle off, and that'll stop it from showing things automatically.
Then you can always have photos if you want, but you can slide up. I probably should do that. Then these are both widgets. These are the Siri Suggest widgets, which is hysterical because I got it duplicated. But notice it's not the same apps in both. So what this is it's essentially giving me a front page of 16 apps that I've used most often or most recently. I can't tell. Siri's, you know how Siri is. She doesn't tell. But usually this contains something I want.
Stuff that you definitely want. Right. Yeah. And in fact, you know, swiping over to that on mine and seeing those things is kind of nice. And something I just learned the other day, if you ever have an app that pops up that you don't really care to see.
You can say, I don't want to ever see that again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that was a new feature that I didn't even realize was there. Yeah. Another thing with the stack is that at any time, there you go, don't suggest. At any time, you can take a widget that is the same size and drag and drop it onto the stack, and it will add it to that stack.
So I could add this to this.
Well, except for the Siri Suggestions one. That's the one.
The only one you can't do that with is the one I tried.
But if you hit the plus button and you were to add one of those
something else to this, I didn't know that. That's actually great. So let's say I do this, I could do that. Oh yeah, now it's in the stack.
To the stack.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really nice. All right, I have to remember that. Thank you. The other thing I should mention, so now this is just the more traditional folders, so if it's not in the front, I can get to it. And then you can make as many stack pages as you want, but the last page, no matter what, will always be your app library. So I think this new iOS 14 organization with widgets is great. So there's mine. It's brief, except I'm not, but it is. Now your turn.
All right. The one that I want to talk about is just a shout out for the calendar app, actually, because right now our favorite app doesn't have an option, unfortunately. And so I imagine that at some point Fantastical will add a widget, and then I will switch out.
Yep.
Definitely sad to not have it on day one, but I imagine that's coming. But until then, I find that the calendar widget is quite nice.
Yeah.
Along with being able to see what day it is on the right there. You can see, you know, the month and the date and everything like that. But on the left, you've got the different events that are taking place. If you hold down on the widget and choose Edit Calendar, then it'll let you choose which calendars you want. You can also just have it mirror the calendar app, meaning the calendar apps that you have suggested will pop up in that area. So it's very easy to adjust and edit how you want as well. And then I've actually set this up as a smart stack so that I have fitness and shortcuts on my home screen. But most of the time, I just keep it on the calendar. I think it's fantastic to be able to look at my home screen, see what events I have coming up, and it's good to go. And so I don't know. I mean, if Fantastical takes a really long time to come out with a widget, maybe I'll just stick with this for my home screen because it does fine as it is. Yep. And I think that the design is actually quite nice.
And because with Fantastical and almost any calendar app, you sync it to your Apple calendars. The Apple calendar has the same appointments as Fantastical. So it's not like you're not going to see something. Same thing for me. I use, for to-do list, I use AnyDo, which I really love, partly because I can talk to my Google Assistant or my Amazon Echo and add to-dos to that. One of the keys for me with a to-do list is the ability to, because, you know, you always think of, oh, I ought to be doing that at the wrong time. Like I'm sitting here thinking, I really need to clean the garage. That's not useful. What you need is a system where you can, the minute you think about it, go, oh, hey, Echo, remind me to clean the garage. And it will add it to your to-do list. So I really like it that those voice assistants are tied into my to-do list with AnyDo. Unfortunately, no AnyDo widget So Apple Reminders, and actually what I've found you can do is sync your Apple Reminders to AnyDo. So I can put Apple Reminders widget up, and I can use Apple Reminders with my Echo and Google Assistant and Siri.
Nice.
And that way I still have that functionality, and it still goes to AnyDo. So that's one solution for a lot of these until the you know, AnyDo and Fantastical are alternative apps for Apple's apps come up with their own widgets. At least you can still use the Apple apps as kind of a stopgap as long as these things sync. I'm going to show you kind of the ultimate for this. This is that same idea, but even more elaborate. And I've talked about drafts before. I know you know about drafts, which is a really, really interesting program. It's one of those tools on iOS. And by the way, I have drafts here on my iPad as well as here as a widget on my iPhone screen. It's one of those tools on iOS where it takes a lot, like shortcuts, it takes some energy. It doesn't just do anything out of the box. And so it may not be for everybody. It really is for people who are focused on productivity and are looking for a solution. In my case, specifically, what Drafts does is it allows me to quickly enter text kind of in a puddle at any time.
I like that. In a puddle.
In a puddle. Yeah. And then at the end of the day or at some point in the week, go through all the things I entered and assign them. And one of the things I really watch is that there's a there's a drafts complication for the Apple Watch, because I always have this on me. So I can always say, don't let me forget to tell Mikah he is the best dressed guy on campus. and so dictation continued, but it's now in there, and now it's in my drafts. And what it does is it syncs to Mac, it syncs to iOS, it syncs to iPadOS, so it's in my drafts. The drafts widget does something kind of similar. It lets you very quickly either type a draft with the plus sign or dictate a draft. Forget that I mentioned that thing about dressing nicely to Mikah. And then I press create, and now that's in my drafts. It also lets you search, and you've got 4 buttons at the bottom of the widget to assign. So for instance, I can now assign that draft to Fantastical. Did you see that? I have a Fantastical
really
button
cool
on here. So you can create with this button, you can create special dedicated buttons that do things, and this is where drafts really gets powerful. I probably should just, as a refresher, show you this. You'll see the 2 things I dictated on my watch are already here. I don't know what "and then insult" came from. I did not add that. Okay. And then I have, if I slide right, a bunch of actions. And this is what you set up. In fact, I've got not only a bunch of actions, I've got a bunch of categories. So I can have dozens and dozens, an unlimited number of actions. So for instance, I could send this text, I don't know why I would want to my wife or Henry or Abby. These are the people I text the most, my kids and my wife. I can add it to Fantastical as an event or a reminder. I can copy it to Notion or Roam. I can save it to Google Drive. But I can also message it directly to you if I put in Mikah. So, whoops, let's not show the phone number, but there you go. You get the idea. I can quickly and easily process these. And so the idea, of course, there's a Drafts app, which I could just open up. Oh, my God. There's your phone number again. And I can do that. There's Drafts website has a bunch of actions that you can add. It works with a huge number of apps. So it's really great. I should turn off notifications because they're just driving me crazy here. They're just great. And I love it now that there's a Drafts widget, so much so that it's in my first widget page because, and same thing on the iPad because, and notice, by the way, that the extra 4 boxes are dedicated to that device. So you can have a different set of boxes. You can't really see that. I'm going to turn the brightness down a little bit. Now you can see those boxes, right? So I can have those boxes be anything I want. You can also use the search or the inbox function. So that's Drafts. Another, and boy, that's where you really see the Drafts folks shine because they are so quick. There's a couple of Apple developers. Thompson's one, the pCalc guy. and the drafts guy, I'm trying to remember his name. I'm so sorry. Who just jump on everything that Apple does. It's like
as quick as possible.
As quick as possible. They're just very quick to take advantage of all the Apple tools, and that's one of the fun things about using these apps is that you're going to always, if there's a widget, they're going to do it. Right?
They're going to have it.
In fact, James Thompson does have a pCalc dice widget, of course, immediately.
And I think so. One of the interesting things about Apple's implementation of widgets is that Apple doesn't see widgets as a place to actually do processing and things like that. You'll notice as Leo was tapping on those different things, it launches you into the app, which then does that section, that little, the button that he pressed then launches the app and does the thing. That's a battery concern, of course, and also just a usability concern where they've made this specific decision. So for example, you can't type in on a widget 78 minus 2 equals and actually get the answer there. It has to be processed in the app itself. I'm curious how you feel about that, because there's a part of me that understands that there's a resources limit that they're trying not to run up against, but I kind of wish that widgets could be a little more powerful, and I'm curious if we will get to a place battery-wise in an iPhone and screen technology-wise where we could have widgets that actually can complete tasks where we don't have to launch the app.
I'm trying hard because my problem is I've used widgets for years on Android, and so my widget expectations are very different. And in fact, Android widgets are live. You can do things with those. And so I even complained, do you remember with the beta, that these widgets don't seem to be very, very alert. They're really just pictures.
Right.
They're pictures on the screen. And my original complaint was that the clocks weren't updating, but now they do. I feel like I understand why Apple did it, and it's a compromise I can live with. It doesn't bug me. And I'm really trying hard not to compare it to Android. That's a temptation. And you see that a lot. You see a lot of snark on Twitter and stuff. Well, Android's had this for years. And I understand why people say that, but there are very few people in the world that use both iOS and Android.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's meaningless to say that, right? Well, I'm not going to switch to Android because they have better widgets. So I'm just glad Apple has them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, by the way, Widget Expectations is the sequel to Great Expectations. Speaking of photos on your home screen, I have to give some major kudos to the Wikipedia widget. So Wikipedia has two types of widget. There's the photo of the day and then the sort of this day in history option. So I'll bring this up. So you can see it, and I've got both of those there. Both the widget of the day the photo of the day and the what's happening on this day. So let me find Wikipedia here. If I tap on that, you can see you've got a small picture of the day, a medium-sized picture of the day, or a large picture of the day that actually has a caption underneath.
I love that.
And then your on this day thing that will show you some different things that happened on that day. And so the smallest widget will just show the current timeline. But as you can see with this medium widget, it shows you the current one. And it says also there were 37 more historical events that happened. And then the big one has even more information on it. And then last but not least is the top read. And I think this was just added because I didn't see this in the original widget. So you can see kind of what people are really focusing on today. For example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the show Schitt's Creek are both at the top of those areas.
We were watching the Emmys on Sunday, and Lisa said, "That's the name of the show?" I said, "Yeah, that's the family's name." She said, "They named the show that?" I said, "Yeah, it's not swearing. It's the name of the family." She said, "Yeah, right."
I love that show. It's so funny.
I watched the first episode when it first came out years ago. It's so sad. It won, 7 Emmy Awards, but it's over. It's like they won all their awards after the show was over.
After the fact.
But it has two of my very favorite people. A lot of us of a certain age remember a TV show called Second City TV, SCTV, which was arguably funnier skit show than Saturday Night Live. It was one of the best skit shows of all time. Came out of Canada and featured people who like John Candy, who went on to fame and fortune later, Greg Moranis, and the stars of S Creek. I don't want to say the name. The stars of S Creek are two people from SCTV, the great Catherine O'Hara and the great Eugene Levy. And in fact, it was created, and this was a nice story I didn't know until I watched the Emmys, by his son Daniel, who was named after Elton John's song Daniel.
I didn't know that part.
Learned that from the Emmys as well. So it's kind of cute because, you know, you kind of, I've worked with Henry, my son. It'd be fun to have Henry follow in my footsteps, I guess. But here's a case where Eugene Levy's son is actually super talented and created the show, which his dad stars in as well as
I love it.
And they both won Emmys, which is even better. And Daniel was wearing a kilt, which is also fun. Have you seen all of the episodes?
I've seen all the episodes, but what I love all of the mockumentaries that Catherine O'Hara and he do together.
Yeah.
I mean, A Mighty Wind, Waiting for Guffman. There's a third one that's really funny.
There's the dog one, Best in Show.
Yeah, Best in Show.
Best in Show.
And
all kind of following after the
funny
Spinal Tap, you know, model of mockumentary, and very, very funny. Yeah, they use a lot of those SCTV guys. Gene Levy is hysterical, really.
He really is.
Yeah. So, so it's worth watching. How many episodes of S Creek are there?
Oh man, I think is it 4 seasons?
4 seasons. Oh, good. Yeah, Lisa.
The show. Lisa
and I said that we should really now make that our show. So see how winning an Emmy is good. It's on Netflix, right?
It's well worth it.
Yeah.
Or on Hulu if it's not on Netflix. Oh, it's 6 seasons. Excuse me.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And each season has, it looks like about 14 episodes. So there's plenty of
good because we finished all the drama below deck on the charter yacht shows. I watched, I think 90, 100 hours of that crap.
Oh
so
my
I'm ready
gosh.
for something else.
Yeah, it's really good. Why don't we? So Wikipedia was my choice there. We
I love that, and I just,
tangent,
by the way, just so you know, I just downloaded and installed it because I did not know they had a widget. You know, and by the way, I mentioned. I've mentioned this in the past, but Wikipedia does the annual fundraising drives. Wikipedia. Jimmy Wales, the creator, never put advertising on Wikipedia. There was a lot of pressure to do so. They certainly would make a ton of money if they did, but he said, nope, I'm not going to do it. So I donate, and I encourage everybody to donate. I actually have a monthly, regular, recurring donation to Wikipedia because we use it so often. I mean, I'm using it constantly, and it's one of the best things on the internet. So I encourage people, when you see that little donation,
I'll start donating when I have a Wikipedia page. No, I'm kidding. I donate.
Oh,
I donate.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I have a Wikipedia page. It kind of makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah,
Our show today, you know what else makes me feel good about myself? Grooming.
Grooming.
Let me talk a little bit about our sponsor, Manscaped, because manscaping is a one way, I think, of in quarantine keeping your self-esteem. You know, I admit I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I'll admit it. but knowing that deep down I'm well groomed under those sweatpants makes such a big difference. I'm just going to say it. It makes such a big difference. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below the waist grooming and treating the areas where the sun don't shine. Manscaped's forever changing the game with their Perfect Package 3.0. That's what I've got right here. The Perfect Package 3.0, which includes, my God, my favorite thing ever. And by the way, this is just not for, this is the best clipper for anything. Even you could do your hair, everything. This is the Lawnmower 3.0. The Lawnmower 3.0 is the waterproof cordless body trimmer to die for. Ceramic blades that are ever sharp because every 3 months you'll get a new set of them. It's got the guide. So, you know, we're not talking, it depends what you want. You want to look as smooth as a baby's butt, or you want to have a little bit of something going on. You can use the guide to control how much is clipped. It has this blade moves 7,000 times per second, which does two things. One, makes it clip without nicking or pulling. It also has, look at this, the very nice bright LED guide light. And because it's a USB charger, I just keep it on the sink all the time, ready to go. Whenever I need it, I just keep it right there in the USB charger, so I always know anytime I need a quick trim. This is awesome. It also, the Perfect package comes with a luxury travel bag right here. I'm just taking it apart right now. That's the Manscaped travel bag. Quite nice. Quite nice. It also comes with these non-chafing boxer briefs. I guess anti chafing. So much more, too. Little potions and lotions like the Crop Preserver. And, well, you know, and you can read the package to know what it's for. I don't want to talk about it. And then the Crop Reviver. Millions of people will be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And I love it that you don't have to worry about keeping your blade sharp, because Manscaped will send you replacement blade refills every 3 months when you purchase the Perfect package plus Peak Hygiene Plan. No commitment. Of course, you can cancel anytime. This is a great gift. Birthday's coming up. The holidays coming up. I think this is a fantastic gift for anybody in your life. The Crop Preserver, the Crop Cleanser, the Crop Reviver, the foot deodorant. And I really want to mention this Shears 2.0 because it is literally the best nail grooming kit I've ever had. Let me show you. It's just beautiful. I'm putting my clippers away here, the lovely Lawnmower 3.0. Because I'm tidy. I'm tidy.
Yes.
Yes, you want to be tidy. And also, these are the demonstration models. These are not the ones I have at home. I just want to emphasize that this is not my personal collection here. This is the first of all, I just love it. This is small enough that you can keep it in your travel kit. I keep it actually in my briefcase because you don't want a hangnail to ruin your day. It's beautiful. They really did a nice job. Get those talons in tip-top shape. You could slide it out here and you can see everything it's got. This is it's got the tweezers, the spatial
spatial
clippers.
scissors.
Yeah, the file, and the best, honestly, the sharpest.
I love how it's so sharp,
clever?
And I love how it lays flat.
Boing,
It's
boing.
so cool.
And it is the best clipper ever. And these are all made out of stainless steel, really gorgeous. Manscaped also cares about men's health. That's why they're raising awareness about testicular cancer, most common form of cancer among men your age, 15 to 35. Manscaped has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society and aims to educate everyone about the importance of early detection and self-screening. It could be a good part of your routine. Do a little self-screening there as well. And you explain to me what the Manscaped newspaper is for.
Yes. It's an easy cleanup job.
I thought it was for reading because there's a lot of good articles in here, including some manscaping patterns, suggestions. It's just funny and fun and light. But it also, when you spread it out on the floor, it'll collect anything that your clipper is ejecting, if you know what I mean.
There you go. Yeah.
Manscaped does everything exactly right. And as I said, because I live in the country, I just go outside and do it. Give the neighbors a show. With Manscaped, you'll have everything you need to trim up and defuzz for the fall and the holidays. And someday, who knows when we come out, when we emerge sleepy-eyed from our hibernation and quarantine, you'll be beautifully groomed. And I'm sure your loved ones will thank you for it. Get 20% off. This is actually a good deal and free shipping at manscaped.com/twit. 20% off, free shipping. Great gift, ladies, for your gentlemen in your life. They won't take it amiss. They'll appreciate the input. Manscaped.com/twit. Manscaped.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of iOS today.
Thank you, Manscaped.
I notice how very well groomed your beard is, for instance. You don't let it get shaggy. You just it's beautiful. It's very nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's an example. Grooming is so important.
It is. It makes you I feel better whenever I'm well groomed versus not. So
yeah, it's for personal health. Yeah.
Let's see. I think I will talk about one that both of us probably. Well, I don't know if you
can have this one. You can have it. I wanted it, but you can have it, my friend.
Okay. The one I'm going to talk about is, and I'm trying to make a page here so I can show it, is Apollo.
We love Apollo. Everybody loves Apollo. It's the best Reddit reader of all.
It is how you read Reddit, not the Reddit app, the Apollo app.
No, yes.
So what I love about this, look at all the different widgets that are available. It starts with a post widget, so you can kind of choose the most popular post of the day. You can choose popular posts within your specific network, etc. And you can get these in the 3 different sizes. So there's the large one, but then also multiple posts. So maybe the top 3 trending posts, or from your favorite Reddit feed, whichever that one might be. And then you've got your post feed grid. So you see multiple posts in a grid instead of just text. So you get these nice photos as well as how many upvotes they've received and comments. And then the wallpaper widget, which shows you those image heavy subreddits. So you can find the photos that really work. This is akin to that Wikipedia photo of the day page. And then some of these to kind of get to the pages that you use the most, the subreddits that you use the most.
Love that.
And then look, it keeps going. You've also got the Shower Thoughts is a very popular
I love Shower
subreddit.
Thoughts. Yep.
And so you can get the Shower Thoughts one or jokes if you want to check that one out. So Apollo has a bunch of different widgets based on, and I think they continue to add them based on what people are kind of looking for. But I love the idea of having this nice big wallpaper widget. Let's scoot to the next page here and tap done. And you could see that it kind of messed up my page, but for now I'll ignore that. And then I can tap on this, and it pops me right into the Apollo app, right to the page after it loads that I want to go to. And another thing here is that I can choose Edit Widget, and then you can choose to either show or not show titles, and then choose the feed type. So specifically, I want animals, for example. And so then it will kind of reload and just show me photos of animals.
Aww.
So that's going to make me sneeze, but I know Lisa would love that one. Yeah, so Apollo is free to download. It's available. The Pro version is available for $4.99 a month, but all those widgets, and that just gives me hope that it will continue to add new widgets based on what people want and need. I think that makes it a pretty dadgum incredible widgets app.
He is another one of those very active developers who jumped on this immediately. I think that's one way to measure the quality of a developer is how quickly they respond to these things, and he did really quickly respond to it, which is nice. So yeah, I'm really a fan of Apollo. It's definitely the best way to read Reddit. You know, and there's also, and maybe you saw the TikTok. There's a young woman who's a productivity guru on TikTok who has become the Widget Queen. In fact, she was mentioned on CNBC because she recently jumped from like 500,000 to 1 million followers because of her custom front pages and widgets and so forth. And it really is quite elaborate. But she uses a tool called Widgetsmith that lets you design custom widgets with custom colors and so forth. I think it's a little bit primitive compared to some of the widgets that are out there, but it's worth taking a look at because you can make custom widgets. You can customize the size, the font, and so forth. There's a variety of widgets. There's a weather widget, which requires a premium subscription calendar. World time, like for instance, I don't think Apple's clock is all that useful, but I'd love to have a little UTC clock on here because, you know, I'm always trying to mention the UTC time. You could put your reminders, your health, astronomy. There's a tides reminder and a photos reminder. So let's make a photos widget, and you can choose this is from Apple's Photos. I can choose all of my favorites. That would be a reasonable one to do. So I guess, does it put all of them in there, or do we?
I think you can choose the photos that you want.
Select multiple of them. I don't know. Okay. Yep. Photos, favorites. Okay. Photos.
Oh, maybe it is an
album. Yeah, you know what it is? Unfortunately, you're picking from this, and this is going to be the widget, I think. Yeah, maybe this one is not quite doing what it's supposed to do. There it is. Have I selected that now? I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. I guess I start with add widget, edit the widget. You can choose location. This is a calendar, so this is time and the month calendar. You can choose what time. You can choose the fonts. There's a variety of oddball fonts. There's the colors, which is kind of nice. So you can really make it. And she is doing a lot of customization with colors, so that she has kind of a pastel kind of thing. And then once I save that, now I've got this really attractive font widget rather. Oh, first I have to save it. Now I can choose it, right? Or no? Oh, add it. Add it. No, I didn't want to add it. I wanted to do it. I'm sure there's a way to add this. Okay. Well, maybe I did add it. Maybe it's done. Let's see. Do I have it? No. Widgetsmith. There is a free tier. By the way, this is Apollo with the I took a photo. So this rotates every 30 or 40 minutes with a great photo. I added, you can see the Wikipedia because I agree with you. So Widgetsmith will let you do more custom widgets. I expect this is just the beginning of an onslaught of
yes, we're going to
tools
see
that
a
let
lot
you
more.
Customize your widget. Here's the astronomy widget, so I can see what the moon. I should change the.
You could make like a whole page of Widgetsmith.
Yeah. So the trick is, I realize, is you go into Widgetsmith and you create the widgets. And then you can modify them, for instance, in Widgetsmith.
Oh.
And then you add the widgets. So, for instance, that font didn't work because it cut off. So let's go back to System Font, save that out. And now when I go back to the widget, it will be in the System Font. It'll be a little bit better. And you can, if you edit widgets, you can then choose from, in the size of the widget, the different styles that you have. So I have different widgets in the medium size. So the trick is to create widgets in the size that you're going to want in the app, and then once you place it, you can then choose from the widgets that you have created.
Ah, so you make them first.
You make them first. Yeah, that was my mistake. You need to make it first. So this is actually, it's pretty competent. I mean, I'll show you so I'm updating my review here of Widgetsmith. I'll show you once you create a widget. Let's say this one isn't the best widget ever. So let's change what I can do, and you can see all the things that will fit into that medium size, including fuzzy time. You like that one where it says 25 past 11? I love that.
It's kind of cute because it reminds me of my great-grandparents.
Photos in album. So now, remember I was trying to figure that one out? So I can say now this is my selected photos album as favorites. Now that's medium 1. So let's go back and save medium 1. And then if I go onto the page here, now that's medium 1. And it's now my photos. And this, I presume, will rotate through these photos as time goes by. So this has a lot of capability. I can also make a large widget, put a large widget there from Widgetsmith. So they've got small, medium, and large. Let's go large. Oops. Add that widget. And now that's the ugly one I made.
Yeah, that one is something else.
Yeah, that's the woman on TikTok does a lot of stuff in that pastel color. But I can choose from other large widgets that I've made. So I don't even remember what they were. Yeah, see, that's a little bit. So I can, and then once you're in the large widget, you can do a lot with the large widgets. So let's edit this one. I can choose, that was the default, but I can choose photos and album again. I can choose custom text, blank, calendar, reminders, and weather. So some of these are premium. You see they're locked. But you get a lot more capability. You can also make your location be your current location, change the fonts, change the colors, and change the time format. So this is significantly more.
Wow, yeah, this is very powerful.
Yeah. And I would imagine over time they're going to add more capabilities in here, which would be kind of fun, so that I think the medium one seems to have the most interesting variety of capabilities. I think there was even a countdown in there. Look at the hourly icon for weather. the hourly rain graph, hourly bar graph. You'd have to buy that for $2 a month, $20 a year if you want that one. Activity, tides, and the astronomy one, I showed the moon, but you can also get a star field in there. Let's choose my location. I'm not sure what that's going to be. Let's save that. That's widget 2. Go back here and make widget, this widget, edit widget. Oops, not remove. Edit widget. And make it widget 2. And that's going to make it a star field.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so that's looking north. That's the stars. I presume that's the stars I would be seeing. So, and there's a lot more. You have a couple caret weather, dew, which will tell you when something's due, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dew is one of I talk about Dew a lot because it is one of my favorite apps in general for a reminder to remember to do something. So it keeps bugging you whenever you need something. So I'll just show here in the that's my iPad. In the bottom left corner of the screen is my little Dew widget, and it just shows me kind of the things that I have to do for that day, depending on the size, of course. So if I go and hit plus and find the Dew app, there's a small one, which is all that I wanted. It just shows you upcoming upcoming items and ones that are already done. Then there's the medium one that has on the right side, you can see there's a timer button, a search button, and a plus button to add new Dew reminders. So I just have the small one there, and it shows me the stuff that I need to do. For example, giving my dog his medicine.
Yeah,
and then
nice. That's a perfect thing for a widget.
Absolutely. And I love I want to shout out the battery widget too, because if you've got an Apple Watch, if you've got an iPhone, and if you have an AirPods, it will show you the battery for all of those different devices. You can see that my iPhone is currently charging, for example. My watch is at full battery, is not currently charging. And then let me see, I've got weather somewhere. There's Carrot Weather. It's just a nice weather app to see what the current temperature is. And of course, Carrot lets you set it up how you want it. So I can choose, do I want the feels like temperature? Do I want the actual temperature? What do I want the summary to be? Of course, I want it to be a little snarky. The condition is what I have the background set as, but you can set it as just a color if you don't want to do the condition in the background. And then you can also add extra data points to the weather. So you can get, the dew point, for example, or the percentage chance of rain and other precipitation. There are so many dadgum widgets that, I think we're both still kind of going through them. And
there's an infinite supply, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go back because I want to show two. When I go into jiggle mode and I tap that plus button in the top left, Apple will regularly kind of cycle through the different widgets so that you always kind of see new things up here. There's an app called Charty that uses Siri shortcuts and some automation stuff to create charts. So this, for example, shows my heart rate information
nice.
Across the day, and then also data widgets for depending on right now it's just the heart rate because that's the one that I chose to have available, but you can do weather forecasts and all sorts of stuff. I've got, an airmail widget in here now. There's IMDb, which is a lot of fun. I use IMDb all the time when I'm watching shows. Who's that person? What have I seen them in before? And they've got a born today thing, so you can see what celebs were born on a given day. And then this, like I said, it always shows you some new things up here. So you can kind of close out of it, come back to it, and see some fun stuff if you don't know kind of what's available. And I've talked about Pocket Rocket before. This, you can see the upcoming launches and what is supposed to launch on that day. City Mapper, it looks like, has a new widget. See, there's some in here that I didn't even know had widgets, and now they are available there for me to look through. So apps keep updating, keep adding widgets, and we get to check out new stuff all the time. So just hitting that plus button kind of lets you see what's new, what's available, and tapping in. Oftentimes, you're going to see that there's even more to these different widgets and different apps than you might have even thought.
Nice. Very nice. I didn't really give Widgetsmith its due. I've placed it on the screen now, and now you can edit it and modify it. It's look, it was brand new to me this morning. I've been playing with it. There's a lot more you can do with it. But there's also timed widgets in Widgetsmith, which is kind of cool. Depending on the time of day, it will change its widget face.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And there's one that I wanted to mention. I don't have it because I haven't gone and downloaded it. But a great widget idea that I hadn't considered was a countdown. So you can say, Lisa's birthday is on this date, and then a widget will show you 22 days until Lisa's birthday, or 46 days or whatever.
Yes.
I think that's a great option.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fun. 22 days till my watch comes, if it ever gets out of Alaska. Things like that. Yeah.
Right. Things like that. Little things.
Hey, let's take a breath, take a break, and we're going to get ready for news.
All right.
What's the news across the nation? Micah's got the information.
Well, folks, what about one's aesthetic? For the longest time, I think that one of the big differentiators between Android and iOS has been the greater level of customization that you can get on an Android device. And, you kind of, I've seen folks, they choose to express themselves and their own personal identity and style through cases and through wallpapers and through lock screen wallpapers and things like that on iOS. But outside of that, there hasn't been a lot that you can do customization-wise until iOS 14, with the introduction of widgets as one part of it, and then also the feature that people have just recently discovered, but that has been out for a while, which is a way to create custom icons for apps. Folks are doing all sorts of stuff with their home screens to create the sort of perfect customization for them. There's one version where somebody's taken the skeuomorphic design of iOS 6 and returned that to the iPhone by adding those app icons. There's someone who sort of took the design language of Sony and the PlayStation and made that their home screen and set up. It was funny. I think was it yesterday morning? Yeah, yesterday morning. I came out of the restroom after brushing my teeth and stuff, getting ready for Smart Tech Today. And my partner asked me, "Can I ask you a question?" And of course. And he started to turn his phone toward me. And I saw that one of his app icons was Carrie Fisher. And immediately I knew what he was asking about. What? He wanted to know about customizing your home screen and setting up apps. And the one big thing is that right now, it's a little bit clunky because I think it was not an intended feature, but it is one that people have found, because right now, if you set up custom icons, when you launch the app, it opens the Shortcuts app first and then launches the app that you're after. But given the number of influencers, and I say that with scare quotes, that have hopped on this train, I would not be surprised if we see Apple make it possible for folks to launch the app directly as opposed to launching the Shortcuts app first and then the app, because people are loving the ability to make their home screens exactly as they want them. I have my best friend, she has completely redone her home screen where it's all like pink and white and very soft. And, all of the different apps have these little icons that aren't what they would standard be. So it all just sort of looks like it belongs that way. And then I've seen a few, like I said, influencers and video YouTube tech people are doing their own sort of custom screens, and we have the ability in iOS, in the new version of watchOS, to share our watch home screens, our watch faces. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple, I'd be a little surprised, but I would be interested if Apple sort of just goes all in on this and says, okay, you love this thing, let's make home screens shareable as well. So then, you could get the MKBHD home screen or the Mikah Sargent home screen or the TWiT home screen that you share online and make access to, because people are loving this customization that they haven't had up to this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
All right. Let's see. You dropped this in the news this morning, and I think it's interesting to see a gaming startup kind of back in the limelight, because what was that last one that everybody was sort of taking their lunch break and playing this game, trivia something?
Oh, yes. Isn't it funny how quickly we forget?
Right. I literally cannot remember the name of that game.
Yeah. Everybody was playing the trivia game because they were giving away real money.
Exactly. Yep. And so it got pretty popular there for a while. And I was thinking that maybe we wouldn't see another something like this. But alas, the social gaming startup called Bunch just got $20 million of funding in its Series A.
You know, I was just looking. I have Bunch on my phone, and I couldn't remember for the life of me why I installed it. Now I know. Thank you.
Now you know.
Yes, they just raised a lot of money.
Yeah, so it's a social gaming thing, which of course is perfect for the times we are living in now, where you and others can all be in the game together and play different games with video chat in the background. We might have to try this because I don't have this on my phone.
I think that's what my intent was, is to send you an invitation so we could bunch together.
It's kind of like go. Oh wait, apparently I do have Bunch. Was it always called Bunch though? Maybe it had a different name before.
I don't know. Maybe I sent you an invite.
Continue with Apple. That's fantastic. Makes it easy here. And
you're getting bunched.
How old am I?
Oh, you're way too old.
I actually don't.
You don't remember?
No, I'm really bad at
It'll come back to you. I know I have to do the math too.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Or no, I'm not that
Mostly
yet.
because I'm so old that I don't really want to remember.
Let's hope this username is. Oh, well, then I already have an account. Oh, well, I'll just do.
I just erased it. So should I bring it back so I can play with
bring
you?
it back. So let's try to do.
I just got rid of my Bunch because I thought, what is this? I don't know what I got this for. Now I remember. Isn't it funny when you go to an app and there, instead of an open thing, there's the little down cloud with a down arrow?
I have not used this in forever.
I guess I've installed that.
Yeah, I actually had an issue the other day because there's a shortcut that I use where it uses a third-party app for part of the steps of the shortcut, but for some reason iPad OS seems to be very, very heavy on the remove app from download thing. And so it had removed the app that I use, the third-party app that I use. And so when I went to trigger the shortcut, it failed because it didn't have the app there anymore. So I had to re-download the app, and it was really annoying.
So I am on now the Bunch.
Okay.
As me.
Yes, if you want to send me an invite, then I'm Mikah D. Sargent.
Okay, I guess I can do that in iMessage. Maybe that's how I did that, and that's why you have Bunch.
It might be.
I think I did. I think I was thinking. Now it's very Facebook heavy, as you know. I refuse.
Yeah, I skipped that part.
Install the Facebook.
I have Bunch. Don't
click the link. It'll bring you to Bunch.
It didn't. It brings me to the App Store.
Bunch? Okay, well, let me then add you in some other fashion or form. I can connect via see, I have to give it my contacts. That's why I don't want to do that.
Let me just see if I can find you. Do you have a username?
No, I'm going to add you real quick right now because you're in my contacts. Add. I just sent you the accept. Now we're buddies.
Yay.
Now what do we do?
Okay, so now. Aha!
Oh, he's bunchifying.
Now we got to pick a game.
Okay.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Let me mute my side.
I'll mute my side too.
How do I?
Because I can hear you. Well,
how do you mute?
Apparently you can't because my button's muted. So I'm just going to.
You hit the settings in the bottom left, and then there's a microphone.
Okay, so now I'm bunching. Tap to chat. I can chat with you. So we're in a Hangout. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, because I can't see what you can see.
Yeah, I have it up on my screen.
Oh, but you don't have a game yet. Oh, you have it in your screen. That's better. Yeah. Oh, look. Hey, I'm on Bunch. Hello. What do you want to play?
Let's see. What
we should have
about
made this an app cap.
Golf
We're
Battle?
throwing away
Yeah,
Golf Battle. You've changed the game to the most exciting game ever, Golf Battle.
It's called Golf Battle. That has to be fun.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say.
Wait, where
now, download game.
Oh, you have to have.
You have to get it.
Oh, there you are. I see.
It's a mini clip game.
Oh, and so it downloads separately. Interesting.
Yeah, I was nervous as it's processing payment, even though it's a free game. This is actually a fun game. I've played this before. I think
Golf Battle.
Have you and I not played it? Okay, let's open it.
I don't think we have. But maybe.
Open Golf Battle. Okay. Okay, so now I'm connecting to you playing Golf Battle.
Okay, mine's still downloading.
Drag back to aim and then release. Oh, man, that was wimpy. So let's do a little bit better. Whoa. Clock. Par 3. Let's try a match. Complete the course with as few shots as you can. Oh, well, this is playing with strangers.
Yeah, I don't. How do I
don't want these people in my game.
We want to play together.
Where's my ball, baby?
I'm going to pick a new game. Because how do you play together? Oh, I think you need to choose instant games.
Oh, well, this is boring.
Let's play Mars Dash. Okay, it's downloading the assets.
Oops. Okay, enough of this dumb game. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go on, shall we?
Yeah.
So Bunch raised $20 million. Now you know why.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That was a news story. Apparently, you can play games together. The last thing that we'll talk about here is just let me switch out of that screen. iFixit did its teardown of the Apple Watch 6.
Yes.
And it's kind of what we would expect. You get a slimmer design with a bigger battery and bigger Taptic engine.
Yeah.
So that part is kind of interesting that the Taptic engine has gotten bigger, but pretty much everything else that you would expect from the device is just about the same. So nothing too surprising within this, although it does have the ultra wideband chip, which we'll see some hopefully stuff soon. We kind of keep talking about that. But as it goes right now, it says that there's no Force Touch gasket and fewer display cables. The NFC cable is routed through a display side jumper, and only one grounding cable. So what that means is that the design has just been more streamlined with this round, making it a little bit easier to take apart and make adjustments to it. The Taptic engine, it looks like, is bigger and yet is slimmed down at the same time. So bigger sort of around, but maybe slimmer in size. And the design altogether is more sleek than it currently is. So not a whole lot to learn there. Magnets are all the same, and it's maybe a little bit more repairable. But if you want to check out that guide, of course, iFixit has its teardown available online for you to see.
Very nice.
The last thing that I'll mention here in the news is something kind of as a little bit of a PSA. Many of us went online and went to order an Apple Watch, and we printed and downloaded Apple's but Apple Watch measuring loop so that we could get the woven band.
Yeah.
Or the
what size is your wrist?
Well, this says that I'm a size 6 wrist, but here's the thing. I've seen many reports online from different folks who've ordered Apple Watch bands in that one size method that have said that the strip tells you a size that's a little bit too big, and I can confirm that. So I got the green, of course, woven band, and
which is
I ordered
quite
it.
pretty.
It's
but because these don't have a buckle, you have to get the right size.
Mm-hmm. And so I ordered a size 6 based on this being wrapped around my wrist, and it is at least one size too big. It might be 2 sizes too big.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna have to send it back. And so what I'm recommending is that folks probably should set up an appointment to go into the store and try one on, because that's, from every report that I've seen, from every person who's talked about it, they said the paper that I printed out told me one size, and when I went in, I was about 2 sizes smaller. So really, you should probably go in to have yours checked to make sure that it works, or that it's the right size. Apple stores have these reusable but also recyclable and throwaway sizers that they actually have printed out, and they're a little bit different from the ones that you print out online. So Apple can help you kind of get the right size for you and make sure that it works, instead of kind of playing the guessing game, even with that sizer that they provide. And at least for me, rounding down would be the right move to make rather than rounding up. And I kind of wish that I'd known that, because now if I order a woven band, it wouldn't arrive until much, much, much later. So
I think they said to round down, didn't they, on the site?
They did.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get for not reading instructions.
That's my fault. But
so you have the right solution, because there were a lot of complaints that people were saying, oh, now I have to return the watch and the band. Well, don't return the watch and the band. Just keep the watch and get another band.
Get another band.
Yeah, and many of us, this is not our first time at the watch rodeo. We might have other bands that we can use.
Yes, plenty of bands that I can use instead.
Yes.
Let's do feedback next. How about feedback?
Feedback in a bit. Let's see.
All right.
What do you got?
Let's see. What have we got for feedback? Well, the first feedback, the first question comes from Glenn. Glenn writes, my daughter is 18. In the past, she's always been under my account. In addition to having an iPhone and a MacBook, I've also maintained her as a user on a family iMac.
I know where this is coming from.
That then allowed me to locally back up her photos, for example. But now that she's 18, she should have a completely independent account and complete privacy.
Yes.
Is it as simple as deleting her user on the iMac and just having her change her Apple password, or are there other steps to take? For example, should I remove her from family sharing to give her complete privacy? So Leo, why don't you start, and I'll throw in some tidbits that I've read about from family sharing.
So don't confuse the login on the computer with the login on her Apple account. Those are two separate things. So she can keep her login on the computer. It's not necessarily tied to the Apple account. What she'll want to do is log into the computer and then make sure she has her own Apple account in the accounts system preference pane. She can delete the. I'm not sure from his statement. A lot of people, when their kids are young, don't create an Apple account for them. They just let them all, everybody shares an Apple account. I was doing that. Big mistake. But this was before family sharing came along. Because when Henry went to college, I started getting his texts, which was embarrassing to both of us. So that's one error. I don't think he's making that error. Certainly, if she is on the same iCloud or Apple account that you are, or App Store account that you are, you should create a new account for her, and she should be using that. For instance, I like to have a different account for iCloud and the App Store. So when I set up my Mac, there's it's not obvious, but when you're first setting up your Mac, you can press a button that says, use different accounts for the store and for iCloud, and I do that. She may have one account for both. So go into her iMac, make sure that the iCloud and App Store accounts are her account, not your account, in case you did that. Once you've done that, there's not an issue at all. Her account on the iMac is going to still work. It will be tied to her current Apple account. You'll want to add that Apple account to family sharing, because no, that does not. You can configure family sharing, but that does not necessarily share photo albums or text message. It doesn't, in fact, share photo albums or text message or anything like that. Family sharing is for sharing things like the new Apple One subscription, iTunes purchases, app purchases, and each of those can be turned on or off. So I don't think you actually have a problem, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Everybody in my family who might be using my laptop or my desktop will have an account. Same thing here. When I take a vacation, other hosts come in and use my iMac here. I have accounts for them. That keeps my stuff completely secure and private. because they can't see my stuff and I can't see their stuff. Actually, I can because I'm the administrator, so I could go in. You want to make sure anybody with administrator account could take over any other account. So you want to make sure she has a limited account if you don't want her to snoop in your stuff. But I think that's fine. I don't think that there's a problem here. The only problem is from the old days when we shared one iCloud or one Apple account because they didn't have family sharing.
What I think this boils down to is communication, so that everybody understands what is being shared and what is not. And Apple makes that very easy to do. So if you if you launch the settings app, tap on your name at the top to go into Apple ID and then choose family sharing, then you can see the different people that are part of your home and part of your family. And you can see the different things that are shared with the family. So different subscription services that are shared, different, like, for example, my location is shared with the family, and I'm sharing my iCloud storage plan because I've got a bunch. But while I'm sharing my iCloud storage plan with my partner does not have access to my iCloud storage. I do not have access to his iCloud storage. And then these other options here, like ask to buy and screen time and things like that, those are things that you choose. You actively go in and choose to set up. So if everyone is aware that nothing is available to other people without sort of the permissions thing taking place, then yeah, you're fine as far as that goes. So I think I'm going off of what Leo is saying here to say, yes, I agree that you don't have a problem. I think what it boils down to, Glenn, is just communicating that as part of the family sharing, this is what everybody has access to. This is the information that I don't have access to. And then everybody's kind of aware and good to go forward from that.
Yeah, it's not clear when he says she's always been under my account what that means. And that's, I guess, the confusion. If she has an account on your computer, you can't delete that, but I don't see any reason to. It's still completely separate. So I wouldn't worry about that. That's one of the beauties of family sharing. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right. Up next from Dan. My wife's phone, an iPhone 8, has a geotag cellular issue. It will not give her the geotag information until she uses Wi-Fi. If I send her photo, the geotag info will not work. When she sends me a photo, I can see it on my phone. Side note, she refuses to update her phone and apps until it becomes completely necessary. How can I explain how bad this is? She did update the iPhone because of the geotag issue, and I made sure that all cellular functions were working, still could not get the geotag info to work. Brought it into an Apple store, and they were stumped. Hopefully you have a solution. Well, Dan, this is, of course, a multi-step concern that you have, but I want to start with the geotagging problem. It sounds to me like there could be a permissions error, a privacy error.
Yeah. So I want to make it very clear. He's confusing cellular location finding with GPS.
Yes.
The iPhone uses both. They're two different systems. Actually, there's a third system, that's why it wants Wi-Fi, which is based on triangulating visible Wi-Fi access points. So there's really three location systems in an iPhone. Geotagging typically means GPS location. So you got to make sure that that's turned on. The fact that it's asking her to turn on the Wi-Fi tells me it's not.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll launch the settings app. We will scroll down until we see that hand. Stop in the name of love. Oh, wait, my hand is not on screen. There we go. I'm a professional. We tap on privacy. We choose location services at the top. Then we scroll down until we get to camera, and we make sure that that is set to while using the app. If it is not set to while using the app, and it is currently set to never, then you've found your issue. You can also, if you're not sure what it is set as, choose ask next time. And that way, the next time you take a photo, it will ask if it can have your location, and then you can choose while using the app. This feature down here, as you're watching this, Dan, is a new one in iOS 14, the one called Precise Location. Your wife will probably want this to be turned on based on the fact that she wants to be able to see the geotag information for her photos. Once that has been done, even if it's showing right now while using the app, go ahead and toggle it off and toggle it back on again, just in case it's something like that. But that needs to be turned on in order for the camera to be able to geotag the photo. So it's a location services thing. Then I want to go a step farther. Yes, farther. No, further.
I should mention that you can also, and I bet you she's done this because it sounds like she's security, concerned. You can turn off location services entirely. So make sure it's turned on in the app, but also make sure it's turned on entirely. And that's, by the way, Will, you see the information that I just told you about location services. It uses GPS, Bluetooth, and crowdsourced Wi-Fi hotspot and cell tower locations. So if this is turned off, doesn't matter what you have turned on the phone, and I suspect that's what's turned off.
Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle you might have turned off. That's a good point. Yeah. And then the one thing that I wanted to say, we'll include a link to it in the show notes. There's an app called Metapho, Metapho. And this is just a troubleshooting step. If those first things that we suggested don't work, have your wife download Metapho and have her open up a photo in Metapho and then look at it, because Metapho is a metadata-specific app. It is just meant to check and edit EXIF metadata. So it will give us a hint at whether or not the photos do have that stuff plugged into them, and it's just not for some reason being visible on the phone, because the one thing that Dan notes is on his phone, he can see the geotagged information, but on her phone, she cannot. And so the same photo is showing up in one place, but not the other. But yeah, start with location services being turned on, making sure that it's turned on for the camera. And then we'll go from there, where Metapho becomes a next step to take, just to see if there's something weird on this photo in particular, where for some reason the metadata is not readable for whatever reason. So yeah, let's hope that helps. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. Let's see. We'll do one more here. And this one, Leo, do you want to talk about? This is from Jeff.
Yeah, we got a really nice email from a musician who's a fan of our shows, Jeff Perrin. He actually is a musician who specializes in surround sound. He makes a lot of surround sound music, graduate of Berklee College of Music, and he has made an app which those of you who want to test out the spatial sound in your iPods Pro will really like. It's free, it's downloadable, it's called Speaker Check. And the idea of Speaker Check is it's going to test your surround sound capability. So I don't know. I don't think we're in surround sound. So I don't know what this is going to sound like. But you can play a full range AC/DC inspired rock track to test your 5.1 surround sound. Now, there are other ways to do this. One way to do this would be to watch Star Wars on your iPad or your iPhone, and you would then be getting it. Now, can you hear the left-right panning in this?
I can't currently, but I think I'm mono out with my.
I don't think you're getting this encoded from us in 5.1. In fact, I know you're not. I don't think you'll hear that surround. But if you download the app, you can then try I think the 5.1 speaker check is probably what you want, unless you want to try you don't care about subwoofers, so you can try and besides, you might prefer the blues style track with a large club surround sound ambience. So Jeff, thank you for suggesting this. Here we are in the club. You can hear people all around you, and pretty soon blues stratitude.
As soon as I get my replacement AirPod, I'm going to be checking this out.
Isn't that fun? Yeah, now I want to try. You know, I haven't played with this surround sound. People are saying the spatial sound in the iPad is great.
So spatial.
Yeah, so spatial. So thank you, Jeff Perrin, for suggesting that. It's a free on iOS in the App Store Speaker Check. But of course,
you can even get it for your Apple TV. So you could check your 5.1 surround sound system on your Apple TV.
Or watch Star Wars in surround.
That works too.
You probably get the sense of something going on special.
All right. I think it's time for
hats?
app caps.
All right. Let me get this one on. This is a very elaborate cap, recently purchased from the elaborate cap store. Wait till he sees this. I have to slump down just a little bit because it's so large. So I'm just going to get on my knees so that you can see the entirety of my squid hat. And Mikah's doing something very elaborate. I don't know what he's up to. We shall see. We wear these silly caps just to really have some fun. I feel like my tentacles are... Oh, my God, he's turned into Santa Claus. But actually, you're more like Gandalf.
I do believe that I'm ready for our app picks of the week.
Try just do this. You got a stick or anything, bang it and say, "You shall not pass."
Let me see.
I think he's got it. He looks.
I've got a lot of hair in my mouth.
Wow. Not only does he have a wig, he's got a beard. We wear these silly outfits mostly because it's fun, but also to celebrate our app picks of the week. And we're going to let Mikah start. I look like a squid pope, actually.
That is a very... what does the Pope Mobile look like for a squid pope, I wonder?
It's a big tank, actually.
Big water tank.
Yeah.
Very well. All right. So,
all right, old man.
My app cap is a little bit different because it's less about the, oh, now I can't do Face ID to unlock. You got to give me a second to type in my password. It's like, who is this person? So my app cap is less about the app itself and more about the device that connects to the app. And this is because of, and I'll turn this on here. So this is the Divoom, or is it Divoom?
What?
I'm not sure. Divoom.
What is happening?
Pixu display.
You've got a little pixelated display.
Yeah, so these little squares are all LED lights that can be lit up in a certain way, and it's kind of hard because of the glare.
Yeah, no, I like it. I can see it. That's really cool.
And so I can change this. This came up because my partner was saying, we really need to get you one of those on-air lights for whenever you're in the office.
You could do that. So he'd know if you were busy.
Exactly. And so the problem was that I couldn't.
Doesn't say on air.
I went online and they were very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to try to find something else, and I was able to find this. And so I've created, let me find it here.
So it's Bluetooth connected to your phone?
Yes, it's Bluetooth connected to the phone. Oh. And so I've got a live
now. Did you make
I made
that?
this myself.
Oh, nice.
So it lets you create animations. I know it's very hard to see because of the
contrast
the glare,
is weird.
Yeah. Essentially, this is what I love about it too. It doesn't plug in.
I might get this.
Well, I mean, it plugs into charge, but once it's charged, then you can hang it wherever you want to. And this not only does just this is a custom animation that I made, but you can also create. So you can have a time, you can see weather, you can see the current temperature, and then it also has some features for music. So you can it'll listen to the music and sort of do an on-screen visualizer for the music. There's an alarm on it. There are different games you can play with it. A noise meter, which is kind of fun. So it actually shows the decibels as I talk louder and then get quieter. Then it gets lower. And some different features. Let's see, noise meter. There's a countdown timer, a scoreboard if you're playing games with friends.
That's cute.
The weather. Yeah, and it all works over Bluetooth. And
so you could be in your office and change it.
Yes. So in fact, right now it's not hanging, but normally it hangs in the hallway outside of my office. And so I can put on air while I'm on air.
You know, you've seen my clock. I have kind of a similar pixelated clock that has tweets and weather and time and stuff. Lisa and I both have those. Those were fairly expensive. How much is this?
And that's what I think that's so fantastic about this is it's $50.
Oh, nice. And what's the name of it again?
Divoom, D-I-V-O-O-M, Pixu, P-I-X-U.
Oh, I see. They also have the D2.
Yes, they've got several different types.
Retro pixel art game Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, and it's on sale right now for $42. It's normally $50, but it's on sale for $42.
Smart LED pixel backpacks for kids.
They do, yes.
This is hysterical.
And a little, something called the Time Box Evo, which is it's a Bluetooth speaker as well as a pixel display on the top. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot to mention. I'm thinking about getting at least one more of these because you can put up to 4 of them right next to each other, and it will sync all of them together. So you can create like a larger image or a larger animation across the 4 screens. It has an auto off feature. It's got a little microphone so that you can do a clap on, clap off if you want to. The little button at the bottom is what changes it to different displays. It's
this
really
is pretty good. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Hot. I love how pixelated it is. You know, this is a very cute. You know, maybe I'll get another one for a birthday gift.
Yeah, I think this would make a great gift.
Michael's birthday's coming up. That is. So I thought same thing. I don't have an on-air sign at home. I could hang this outside my office and really annoy everybody.
Well, and see, this is the thing that kind of annoyed me. I didn't realize that it did all of this stuff, and so I kind of feel like I need another one because I want one on my desk too. I feel like it doesn't get as much use just being an on-air display. Now that I know it does all this stuff, I'm like, oh, I want one that, because it'll give you your Instagram notifications, Twitter notifications, and stuff like that if you want it to. I don't necessarily recommend that, but you can have it do that if you want. And it works with, I don't remember if I said that, it works with Siri as well. So you can say like, hey, Siri, show this specific screen, and it will work with that to do so. So I think it's a really cool thing, and they continue to have deals. I got it for $40 instead of $50, and right now it's available for about $40. So I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to be on sale from time to time. But yeah, it was a solution to a problem that I had, and it ended up being more delightful than I expected.
It's quite delightful. I must say, quite delightful. Let's see if I can get recognized in my squid Pope hat. I guess not. My app is iOS 14 specific because we've been talking for a long time about one of the great features of iOS 14 is you're going to be able to change the default email and browser app. But then it turned out the app has to support it, and very, very few do. So, including the email app I use. So, if you wanted to change the default app, it's kind of a disappointment. But I have a new browser app that you can change it to, and you might want to change it to because it's a privacy-focused browser. Now, one thing you should understand is that any browser on iOS is actually going to be very similar to Safari because it's using the Safari engine. It's using WebKit to do the display. So really, it's the additional features they add on top of it. And I want to show you how you change it. This is the browser. Well, I'll start with the browser, and then I'll show you how you change it to be the default browser. I'm sure many of you are familiar with DuckDuckGo, right? This is the search engine that is kind of the anti-Google search engine. If you want private searches, you don't want to give information over to Google, DuckDuckGo can do that. But they have a browser. They've just released the DuckDuckGo privacy browser. It says the internet can be kind of creepy, not to worry. Searching and browsing privately is easier than you think. You add DuckDuckGo to your home screen, and now all my searches go through DuckDuckGo. I even have, and this works on the iPhone and the iPad. I'm showing the iPad version. See this little fire button, this flame button, closes all tabs and clears data. So I don't know if you've noticed, but when you use Safari, you may have hundreds of tabs of previous sites you visited open in your Safari. Anybody can see. That's not good. So, and clearing them is kind of a pain in the ankle. So, so this is, by the way, let me just show you what happened here. So I just went to twit.tv. It also shows me what trackers are going on. Google, Oracle, and 2 others are trying to track you here. I blocked them. Now I'm going to our site, and these are actually analytics trackers. So we're not doing anything else with that. But still, if you don't want to be tracked as you wander around the web, and it's fine with me if you don't be tracked when you visit This Week in Tech, the only, we won't know you visited. We won't know, we'll add you to the number of people who visit our homepage, but I don't think that's that important. So that, I think, otherwise is very similar to any other browser. You can have favorites and so forth. It has, you can have a fireproof website, which would mean that any time that I go to this website, trackers are automatically blocked and history is no longer kept of this, which I think is great. I can disable privacy protection on a particular site if I don't want to bug them. There are a variety of themes and app icons. This is free. They've really done, I think, a really great job of making a new browser that's privacy first. And again, it's going to work just like Safari. It's just that on top of that, they've done additional blocking. And you can choose to automatically clear data. You can choose an application lock, which means no one can see your browser unless the face recognition happens. It's kind of an extra way of keeping yourself private if you share devices. But here's the key. Now, thanks to the newest version of iOS, we can make DuckDuckGo our default browser. Links that we click in anything else will open, instead of Safari, will open DuckDuckGo. Notice, there aren't a lot of choices. You have to install an app before you'll see it here. But again, not all browsers will show up here. DuckDuckGo will. And I think it's actually a great browser. So by making it my default browser, now whenever I click a link, this will open up. I think it's just as good as Safari. You can still request the mobile site or the desktop site. You still have tabs if you want. You can clear all tabs and clear all data. Boom. How do you like that? Just burned it right up. And I wanted to mention this. It's absolutely free. I think a very good choice for anybody who wants a old man who wants a little privacy in their browser.
Get off my lawn and give me my privacy.
I don't know how squids talk, or I would...
Oh, like Donald Duck.
Except not as coherent. We have concluded this edition of iPad Today, iOS Today, whatever we call it.
iOS Today.
Next week, we'll have watches. We should talk about, I think there's some really nice new features in watchOS 7. And I think the new watches will have some new features too, including blood oxygen. So I think next week, maybe we'll both have our new watches.
Yes, it's very important to know how much oxygen is in your blood.
Not a lot.
Yes.
That there is Mikah Sargent. I am Leo Laporte. We joined together. Usually I was late today because I was in a funk, a blue mood, because I'm stuck inside and I don't like it one cotton picking bit. But I won't be funky next week. I'll be here at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern time. That's 1600 UTC. When we're working here, you can watch us work, which is crazy. Why would anyone let anybody do that? But you can at twit.tv/live. There's live audio and video streams you can choose from at that place. If you're watching or listening live, chat room's a nice place to be, irc.twit.tv. You can chat along with all the other kids who are watching and listening live. On-demand versions of the show available at the website, which is twit.tv, of course, twit.tv/iOS for this particular program. We're also a YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/twit, you can see all our channels and Twit bits and so forth. Let's see, we're on a flash briefing every week. If you have an Amazon Echo device, don't forget that you can listen to your news every morning in their flash briefing. And we're one of the elements you can add to a flash briefing. Twit is. So please add us so you'll get a little bit of Twit every morning to start your day off right. We are getting ready for the end of the year, Mikah. How did this happen?
That we are.
I missed all spring, all summer. I'm going to miss the fall. Happy fall, by the way.
Happy fall.
Happy fall. I think it starts. Did it start already? Chat room is 6:30 this morning. Fall began. What? I know.
No way. What?
You notice your hair's gotten longer too.
That must be
time
what's
is
happened.
Flying, my friend. Time is flying. We missed the summer.
I, Father Time, say that time is flying.
So if you would like to participate in our end of the year extravaganza, we do a best of. I think this might make it clips from previous shows in the year 2020. If you have an idea of something that happened during an iOS Today episode that you thought, oh, they really should show that, go to our website, twit.tv/bestof. one word. And it's going to ask for things like what time in the show and stuff. But whatever just fill that in. It's very helpful to our editors because their assignment, should they choose to accept it, they don't really have much choice, is to compile a best of by the end of this month. So they don't have a whole lot more time. So get over there, twit.tv/best of, and nominate your favorites. I'm Squidworth.
And I'm Father Time.
And we thank you. Hey, if you want to write to Father Time,
it's at fathertime@yahoo.com.
No.
If you have a question for iOS Today, it's iOS Today at twit.tv.
Last episode of the year, you should dress as Father Time, and I will wear a diaper and be a baby, the infant New Year. You can be 2020, and we'll be glad to kill you off and start 2021, which probably isn't going to be any much better.
Father Time should wear a necklace with the coronavirus on it so that you kill him and
carry a big sign that just says, "I'm sorry about this." Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on iOS Today. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mikey.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Tech News Weekly here on twit.tv, along with my co-host, Mikah Sargent. Each and every week, we talk to people who are making and breaking the tech news. It could be journalists writing amazing tech stories. It could be experts. It could be the sources of the stories themselves, developers, you name it. We bring them onto the show, and we talk to them about why their story is resonating with the world. You can watch and subscribe by going to twit.tv/TNW. Make sure you do that, and you won't miss a single episode. We'll see you there.